All right, guys. Earlier in 2017, actually late 2017, a med error occurred at Vanderbilt Hospital, one of arguably the most prestigious hospitals in the South, arguably the greatest hospital in Tennessee. Vanderbilt Hospital is a phenomenal hospital, great hospital. And a med error occurred there that ended up with the patient dying. The nurse, I'm probably going to pronounce her name incorrectly, so forgive me for that, Redonda Vaught, did admit to doing the med error. She has already admitted to doing the med error, said she was complacent at the time of the accident, and was also training someone possibly on the computerized system or on something, or maybe she just had a nurse shadowing her at the time. Said she was complacent at the time, has not shied away from the fact that she did perform the med error. Two different meds were given. They both start with roughly the same letters, VE. VE was the letters that was used. One was what was supposed to be given. One is what was given. The argument is that five overrides were done in order to get the med that was given that ended up killing the patient, and that this should not have happened. One that wasn't an override was the way that the med gets into someone. One was a vial of liquid. The other one that was given is a powder that needs mixed to then become the liquid. Yes, I can completely see where most people would say this is an egregious thing that happened. The really bad part about this is this happened in 2017, and now Miss Vaught is on trial and potentially has prison time coming her way, up to 12 years for negligent homicide. Ooh, this is not looking good. And this has many nurses, myself included, concerned about other things involved. Yes, med errors are terrible things, and yes, they should not happen. Agreed, yes. Completely agreed. Do no harm first is always what you want to accomplish. However, the overrides are something that happens. Anyone who's ever done anything with a computerized med dispensary, we call ours a PICS, this is what we call ours. Basically, you type in a med and it dispenses the med. If you have something ordered like potassium that has to run with fluid, if it's given IV, has to run with a bag of fluid, and for whatever reason it's not entered that patient gets a bag of fluid as well, you have to override that bag of fluid in order to give the potassium. This is common knowledge. However, the PICS needs you to override it to give the bag of fluid. So, not uncommon practice. The individual that ended up dying from the med error had something like 20 overrides in 3 days, just on that one single patient. So, overrides aren't necessarily the greatest way to keep meds from being dispensed incorrectly. Now, as I said, Miss Vaught has not shied away from the fact that, yes, she is the one who did the med error. I am certain that she feels tremendously bad about this and is very upset about the error even occurring. Yes, and as a nurse, and we all do not want to do any med errors at all. We all want to do our very best not to do med errors. And unfortunately, a med error was done in this case. The problem that I have, and the biggest problem that I have, is not even with the med error. Yes, med errors are upsetting. Med errors are upsetting for everyone involved. But the biggest problem that I have is Vanderbilt's handling of this entire thing, listing the patient's death as natural causes. Vanderbilt, this great prestigious hospital, is going on and saying, yes, this person died of natural causes. Miss Vaught did her med error in accident. Was it a very preventable accident? You could argue either way. Yes, I will argue either way, and I'm not going to give my opinion on that. However, Vanderbilt documenting purposely natural causes, that is a purpose. They went into that specifically to say died of natural causes. There is also red flags going off, of course, on these overrides. However, there's documentation stating that Vanderbilt was having issues with the med machine at the time. They may not call it a Pyxis, so I better not call it a Pyxis. With the electronic med machine at the time. Somebody has stated that they were having issues at the time. Vanderbilt has seemed to skate by through all of this without any sort of repercussions at all. Yes, they did settle out of court with the family members of the deceased patient. Yes, they did do that. However, there was nothing done other than that on Vanderbilt's part, and treating Miss Vaught like an expendable individual. Oh, you know what? She did the med error. She's gone. She's fired. Miss Vaught did lose her nursing license. Miss Vaught was fired and is taking all of the blame for all of this. And Vanderbilt is just treating her like an expendable nurse. Oh, you know what? We lost a nurse. Let's go ahead and hire 10 more. That is where the biggest concern comes in. Vanderbilt is not really saying anything that they did wrong at all or admitting any fault at all. Yes, I understand Miss Vaught is the one who did it. But documenting that natural causes is the cause of death is not the way to go about this. Terrible situation. I hope that it ends up as best as possible. I don't really know that that's actually going to happen. I hope it does for Miss Vaught and everyone involved, to be quite honest with you. Don't like this situation at all. Don't like med errors, and this is a terrible situation. If you like Nurses Making the News on Thursday, should be a playlist down below. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you much. Hope it helps.